talk about a really important topic, okay? Throughout the past few months, there's been a lot of confusion about what's going on with this novel coronavirus, with both the media and elected officials adding to the problem, okay? The result, a lot of hype and hysteria, with people feeling frustrated and confused, and with real consequences to public health and the economy. We're going to make sense of what's going on once and for all together. When the pandemic was coming to the United States, okay, we had a big public policy failure. Our officials are tasked with defending us from things like this, threats like this. And they're supposed to show clear leadership and actually put out guidelines to help people and organizations coordinate what needs to be done, okay? Guidelines and clarity. However, this leadership all over the place has been anything but clear. Most of the leaders
It's better, could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. The fact is, the greatest experts, I've spoken to them all, nobody really knows. Anybody that needs a test gets a test. They're there. They have the tests. And the tests are beautiful. Anybody that needs a test gets a test.
Officials started out by telling us not to panic and not to wear masks. You know, the CDC told us, don't wear masks. Vice President Pence said it.
Unless you are ill, you have no need to buy a mask.
They all said it as late as March 2nd. Don't wear masks. Even Dr. Fauci said it. Here he is in an interview saying it.
If we get substantial coronavirus here, those kinds of typical simple public health measures could help protect you against coronavirus. People wearing masks now is just not relevant. You don't need to be walking around with a mask right now. Masks, quite frankly, are more important for people who are infected to prevent them from infecting.
Here's a letter from the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. At this time, it is important to listen to facts and not respond to fear. Currently, there are no confirmed cases of novel coronavirus in New York City, and the risk to New Yorkers remains low. This is February 26th, okay, end of February. And look at their advice. All New Yorkers should continue to practice general flu prevention measures, including cover your cough or sneeze with a tissue or sleeve, wash your hands regularly, avoid touching your face, okay, avoid close contact with people who are sick, get your flu shot, it's never too late, and stay home if you're feeling sick. Call your doctor and let them know your symptoms. So essentially they're saying if you experience symptoms, then do something. Otherwise, keep calm and carry on. And you've seen this also at around the same time with Mardi Gras, right, in New Orleans and so on. So as a result, the outbreak was swift, and it led to exactly these quarantines and lockdowns that we're in, okay? Please understand, okay, these lockdowns are a last resort. They're the result of a public policy failure to contain the virus. Telling people, don't wear masks. There's a shortage of masks. We need them for the health. And by the way, they won't protect you. That's not the point of the mask. It's not supposed to be to protect you. It's supposed to be so that you don't infect others. We're going to face this again. And this time around, to avoid the next time, we need to be organized. Okay? Please understand, these lockdowns, they're one of the worst things that could happen economically. They inflict a terrible toll on the economy, people's livelihoods, okay? As you probably watching this well know. So there's actually a report, the UN, I think this week or last week, came out with a report that hundreds of thousands of children around the world could die from the economic downturn caused by essentially these lockdowns. People are not going to work, okay? Think about that. Balance one against the other. This did not need to happen, okay? We have to understand it's not, oh, well, I guess we got to do the lockdown. No, think a few steps before. Why did so many people get the virus? And let's do something about it so we don't have more policy failures. And this time, we won't make the same mistake. So as we emerge from these quarantines, okay, we're going to face the same situation again. And we need a framework to follow. And this framework has to basically help us avoid spreading the virus so quickly and so completely this time. By doing just a few things, we can help protect our fellow citizens and maybe even prevent the next lockdowns and quarantines that they think will have to happen. Okay, so hopefully they won't have to happen again. So let's go over the basics. The first thing you got to understand is how the virus is transmitted. Okay, you don't shed it through your skin. Okay, it's not like the virus particles jump out of your skin and jump on someone. It comes out of your nose when you sneeze, okay, which is rare with this thing, and it comes out of your mouth, okay, when you talk or when you cough. And if it might be an involuntary cough or some cough that you didn't plan on happening. So when you wear a mask all the time, then you prevent that those particles. So the only other place that the virus comes out of, basically, is when you flush it down the toilet. Okay? And incidentally, officials in Sweden were able to analyze fecal matter, and that's how they were able to see how many people were actually infected with the coronavirus. Let me tell you, it's a lot more people than they previously thought. And it's the same everywhere if we analyze the fecal matter. But let's go back to, where is the virus coming out of? Okay, this is not magic. We don't have to feel helpless and rely on the media and say, oh, it's mysterious, this virus is so mysterious, it spreads. Yeah, it spreads from here. Okay, so second thing everyone needs to realize is the purpose of wearing one of these, wearing a mask. It doesn't have to be an N95, by the way. The mistake that people and even the public officials have been making, okay, is that the purpose of a mask is to protect you from the virus. No, the purpose is for you to not infect others as you're speaking, as you're coughing, okay? That's the purpose of everyone wearing the mask. If the purpose was to defend yourself, I mean, you could go into an elevator and that small room was just host to like 4 people before you and they coughed up a storm. So your mask may create a small pocket of air, and that's nice. But what about your eyes? So then you got to wear one of these, and then you got to wear the full PPE of the doctors? No. The point is, if we all protected other people, then the virus would actually not spread as much. Again, all throughout February, people went about their day, they attended Mardi Gras, okay, while spreading the virus to others, not even knowing it. The virus takes up to 14 days for sometimes to people to show symptoms. And sometimes it's very mild, people don't even know. So there was this study they recently did. They went on one side of the street and they took random samples of everybody on that side. Turned out 1 in 3 people in that town had the virus. Many people didn't even know. And that just goes to show you that many people are transmitting the virus without knowing it, which is why even if you don't have any symptoms, or even if you recovered from the virus, but it has been only a few weeks, you might still be emitting the virus as you speak. So everybody, just when you walk into a building, I'm going to talk about it, should wear one of these. So let's go over how this works. So R0, okay, R0 is the number of people that an average person would infect with no other thing in front of them. No mask, no non-medical, no intervention of any kind. No public policy. Now, if we put layers between people, R0 goes down a lot. And that has compounding effects down the line. So if we could reduce R0, the number of people that a regular person could infect in a week or whatever, or the whole time, by half, well, that could actually make the virus totally just drop off, the mathematics of it. So it's a big thing to reduce the every time an infected person wears a mask, okay, it lowers the chance of them infecting other people. That's because the particles emitted are caught in the mask, okay, so they wind up in the mask. And then you could wash it out or whatever. It's your mask, so you could just keep coughing into it. The particles that do make it through the mask, doesn't have to be an N95, it could be a regular surgical mask. They wind up traveling at a lower speed than, because, yeah, they made it through the mask, sure, but they were slowed down by it. And if you just have a surgical mask, I highly recommend that you double up on the masks, okay? So you have maybe like 2 or even 3 masks. You don't really feel the difference, and they're 50 cents or $1. But for a particle to go through one of the masks, then the gap, then the other mask, and then another one, the third one, it's really, really unlikely. And so it really lowers the chances of a particle zipping around. And even if it does all that, it's hard to get to the next person, even if the person is standing about 1 foot in front of you. So again, either wear a nice N95 mask or just double, triple up your surgical masks, okay? So here, you could actually do an experiment. We're going to do one right now. Cough into your hand. Put your hand out. You feel that airflow, right? Now, put on the mask and then put out your hand. Do you see how much the airflow has been reduced? You can hardly feel it. There are some particles going through the mask, but proportionally, the amount of air that's coming through the mask is proportional to the amount of particles going through the mask. And the speed and the volume of things going up is reduced substantially. So proportionally, that's that many virus particles less that you're emitting. Okay, they're getting caught in the mask. And you could even probably do this with tissues. So you don't really feel the airflow through two tissues. Okay, these are tissues. They're not even, okay. So again, that is a major, major, major thing that could mathematically just reduce. Yeah. By the way, another thing that really ticks me off about all this shortage of masks in April and going on May is ridiculous. I mean, we are living in the 21st century. Our countries are able to manufacture all kinds of amazing things, like this Tropicana orange juice. But somehow they're telling us that they can't manufacture a cloth on a string. I mean, just to prove a point, I went around for 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes around where I am now. I found a piece of plastic and I taped a piece of tape and I taped it onto, I didn't even have a rubber band. I made a makeshift rubber band. And I'm telling you that this plastic mask, okay, is actually blocking more particles than this N95 mask. I don't actually feel the airflow because plastic blocks more things. That's what gets me the most. Oh, in the US, we have this rich country. We're the best in the world. Oh, by the way, we can't afford everybody to have a mask. We can afford everybody to have 20 masks, okay? The masks don't have to be that complicated. If I was a politician, I would make sure everyone has a mask and send it to all the buildings. Yeah, I would make sure that the companies would manufacture them, and I would spend a few $1 billion to save trillions in lockdowns later. Before Italy went into lockdown and did this, look what they were doing. Here's a video of a guy, look at him. He's basically being hugged by these people. I'm not a virus. I'm from Asia. Ironically, this guy is probably transmitting less of the virus than the people around him because he's wearing a mask. But yes, this is an example of what not to do this time around. Yeah. Notice what this video was not about. This video is not about how to protect yourself from catching the virus, the coronavirus, or the flu. Okay, sure, you could do all the usual things, washing your hands, avoid touching your face, maybe keep tissues in your pocket, keeping your distance from people. These are all good things if you want to not catch it. But there's no guarantee that, like I said, the next elevator you get into is not going to be full of viruses floating around. Instead, we can work together to defeat this virus, okay? And to the libertarians out there, we don't need the government to start doing these things, okay? To tell us you got to do these things. You could do this on a private level. If you own a building or if you manage a building, okay? Or just talk to your building management to post a security guard downstairs in the lobby and make sure to have a stack of masks. Anybody comes in without a mask, excuse me, sir, you can't come in without a mask. I mean, there are desks, right? The check-in desk. There are bouncers. These things have existed for a long time. Let me scan your immunity certificate or whatever. Can be done on a private level with no government. That's number one. Okay. Another thing I would strongly suggest for this framework is to put a basin with hand washing, with water coming, obviously some water coming in, but wash with soap. Anybody who comes in is given a mask if they don't have one and have to wash their hands because the building's been sterilized. These two things, just done by them, these two things can strongly prevent in that building transmission of the virus, which of course means the workers will be healthier. They'll be able to come to work and they'll be able to pay the rent to the commercial building. Same thing with the residential building. If your tenants are healthier, then they can go to work and make money and they can pay your rent. So even on a private level, it makes sense to just stock up on masks and the hundreds of dollars that you're going to spend on the masks and on the salary of the security guards, okay, is less than the money in lost rent. And that's just on a private level. Now, if you're a politician on a city level, or we could do this on a neighborhood level, or a city or a state, then you could do even better. You can coordinate with your local manufacturing companies to manufacture plastic masks. These are probably, like I said, better than the cloth masks, even though the N95s. I could be wrong, but again, the point isn't to create an airtight seal and to shave your face. I grew this beard just for this video. No, the point is to have something that essentially blocks all the particles from flying in the direction in which you emit them. It's not to defend yourself, it's to protect everybody else. So outside, on the street, you're not really catching the virus so much because there's a lot of air, and the humans emitting the virus are a small part of the air, and everything gets diffused. So you're unlikely to catch something if you stay far away from people. But as you get into a building, and then you get into an elevator, right? Or you spend this time in these rooms with people, you have to have this little pocket that everyone is wearing to catch their crap.
Masks, quite frankly, are more important for people who are infected to prevent them from infecting someone else.
So the buildings, I would recommend, should fine people for taking these things off in the elevator or whatever. There can be cameras. If they find you that you did this, or somebody reported, they look on the camera, you did this, yeah, you get a fine. And that fine could be a civil thing. It could be in a libertarian world. You just owe more rent. You owe whatever. Your employer takes that out of your salary. Or, of course, it could be on a city level. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. The point is we need a framework that could be organized. The thing is, wear masks upon entry to a building. Don't take them off until you exit the building. The buildings should enforce this. Also, wash your hands before entering the building. These are simple things. And again, we could all do this. If we did this and we lowered the viral spread, we could actually maybe affect also the seasonal flu this way. We would not, I argue, we would not probably even need any more quarantines or lockdowns. And there would be no curve to flatten so much, because if everybody did this and we all coordinated, that could be way more powerful. These lockdowns are a last resort. I just want to make that clear. So if you're a politician, have your local companies manufacture these masks. I personally would love to see masks with, like, the Guy Fawkes mask with the smile, or American flag, or possibly, the Coney Island clown or something. You could have a lot of fun with this. People could express themselves with these masks. Come on, there's a big business opportunity. Make the cool masks, sell them to buildings, and then the buildings go ahead and actually deploy them. And again, the role of the city is to facilitate, make sure there's enough masks. Trust me, if you spend billions of dollars on these $1 masks and send it to everyone's homes, okay, and the tests and everything, but you save trillions on the other side by avoiding economic lockdowns, that's a net win. That's a net win, okay? And any country can do this. Anywhere you're listening, you can do this. You can do this in your neighborhood, in your building. If you're a residential building, talk to your landlord. If you're a building, a commercial building, talk to your management company. So the basics I've outlined are components of a larger framework that could, become necessary once we emerge from these lockdowns, because we want to get back to a normal social life and a normal economic life. Local constituents, call your local buildings, find out how many masks they need, have those masks manufactured and sent to them, okay? It is far better to spend $1 billion and to save $1 trillion on another series of quarantines, all right? So if you liked this video, you think that it has some actionable advice, you could subscribe. I'd love to have you see more videos, but what I'd really like for you to do is to send it on to your friends, okay? This is how a virus spreads, by the way. We could fight a virus with a virus. Spread this information, spread this video, send it to at least, post it on your Facebook right now. And if you know some politicians, please send them this video, have them watch it. Please think of other people and take care of each other. Thank you very much.